Hello and welcome to another episode of Patents Live TV. I'm your host, Jeff Bond, and this is episode number 44. And I mentioned in previous episodes that we have on the third Tuesday of every month a vendor presentation. And today we have Debbie Fortman from Spec Tech, and she's brought a couple devices, and we're going to talk a little bit about those. But Debbie, tell me a little bit about Spec Tech.
Spec Tech is actually a company. We're independent reps for manufacturers of communication boards. So we have these devices, which are from Saltillo, which are the NovaChats, and then we also can rep for other companies because, as I said, we are independents and not employees of the companies.
Great. So you have three devices, and these are the NovaChats.
That is correct.
As you said.
That is correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about the devices themselves?
Yeah, I'll just kind of introduce them first. The smallest one here, this is the NovaChat 5. The numbers denote the screen size. So we have a 5-inch screen. We have the NovaChat 10, which is the 10-inch screen, and then the NovaChat 7, which is the 7-inch screen. All of the devices are based on Samsung Galaxy tablets. They can be programmed and set up any way that you want to. So the programming that I have on here right now, this is a library. It's a vocabulary file they call the multi-chat. And if you'll notice, I don't know if you can kind of zoom in a little bit, all of the screens on all of the devices are the same. They're just different sizes at this point in time. They do have speech output.
I want to help.
So we can make them talk by touching the bar here at the top. We can make them repeat themselves.
I want to help.
Okay.
Very good.
They're using they're using synthesized speech. We can also use recorded speech, and we can also use digital pictures, which I will show you as well.
Now, the synthesized speech, can you change that to a female voice as well as a male voice, or a child's voice, or?
These are all set on male voices right now, but there are children's voices. The acapella synthesizer just came out with 3 new child voices as well, and that's something that you can listen to online, and I'll try and show those to you here before we're finished today as well. So with these devices, one of the other features I wanted to show you also, the 10 has a keyguard on it. Basically what the keyguard is designed to do, this is designed to help somebody who needs a little extra attention to each individual button. They can be different sizes, and let me just lift it up here for a second so you can kind of see. I'm not sure you can pick up that that's actually a grid, like a plastic grid that's on here. Okay, so it does help the person stay on the keys and helps them to be able to isolate which button it is that they're pushing. Okay. This one, if you notice when I push the top of it, it simply repeated itself. We can also set them up.
I want to help.
So I have the same message. If you notice, I also have icons on the speech display bar as well. Whereas with the 10, we have it set up not to display the icons, but only to show the words. Okay. If we go back over to the 7, this one is also programmed to do what they call tap to expand. And so I tap it.
I want to help.
It repeats itself, and it also opens up. So it helps to reinforce the auditory along with the visual.
What a nice feature.
Words. So if we tap it again, it goes right back to our screen. Okay. If we want to clear this off of here, we have a gray X at the top. If I push it one time, it will erase the last thing that was on there. If I press it and keep it held down, it will erase everything that's across the screen. Okay. With these devices, we haven't looked a whole lot at the 5. If we move to the 5, you'll notice it obviously is a lot smaller than the other ones. The beauty of this one is the portability of it. Because it's easy to pick up, put in your pocket. It's sitting on a stand here. If we fold that stand down, then you'll notice it's nice and flat, very small.
And what I noticed about that one too is the speech component on the back here is really nice and sleek. Compared to some of the other ones I've seen in the past.
Yes, so this is actually a new design. On the 5s, for the people who are watching that are familiar with the 5s, that is one of the things they'll notice. The older style did have a fold-up amplifier, and it was thicker than what this one is. So this one is a lot sleeker.
And Bluetooth.
It is Bluetooth. All of the amplifiers, these are actually, the 7 and the 10 are actually sitting on stands. The handle part here with the black amplifier here is actually connected via Bluetooth. Okay. When you charge them, you do need to charge the tablet, and you also need to charge the amplifier as well. It is one plug for the wall, but it does have a Y connection on the end of it, so you do need to charge both of those.
And you'll always remember because there are going to be 2 plugs.
Exactly.
And if you only have one plugged in, then you're going to go with the other plug.
And you're going to wonder what the other end of that plug is for. So,
Sure.
exactly.
Great.
If we look at this, I'm going to go ahead and pull this Keyguard off of here. All of the devices, one thing I will point out to you, all of the devices are the same. The only difference you're going to find is the hardware. Okay, they have the same programming from the manufacturer, so they do a lot of programming, so it helps you with the programming that you need to do. And if we go to our menu button here, we have a button called Library. And you'll notice here that there's a list of a lot of different programs. Okay, on these programs, you'll notice there's a lock and there's a copy, and there's a lock and there's a copy. The locks are the original. You can't make changes to it, so if you totally mess things up,
You've got a backup.
You've got a backup. You can always delete what you messed up and start over again. And I'll just kind of skim down through here, and you can see, I know you and I can't read them right now, but you can see that there are a lot of different options. These will go anywhere from a keyboard for someone who does have reading and spelling capabilities. I apologize. So we can open up what's called Essence. This will give us a keyboard. Okay, so for somebody who wants to be able to do mainly typing, okay, that does have the capability to read and write, we can go to what they call topics. And then these are pre-programmed buttons or pre-programmed phrases. From here we can go to, let's go to feelings.
Well, what was nice about that too was it popped up really pretty quick.
Yes.
Unlike really having to sit and wait for something to load, it was almost instantaneous.
Right, and it does pop up pretty quickly, pretty quickly. But here on the feelings page, we can say,
I'm not feeling
good.
good.
So I'm not feeling good. So there we can go in, you know, we can choose our buttons here. Okay. So we do have different options. There's also a program that will give you 4 buttons. So for somebody who is just starting out, whether it's age-related, whether it's cognitive ability, there is a library that will give you just the 4-button option. Any of these options can be changed. So let's go back, and I'm going to go to ChatPower, and the ChatPower, you'll notice as opposed to the multi-chat, the ChatPower is going to come up with more word options, okay? So this is going to be for somebody who wants to use words, they want to use a keyboard. It does have some symbols on it as well to build sentences with. So somebody who's developing language, has some reading abilities, okay? Somebody who wants something more than what we've thought to pre-program on the device. So for instance, if I wanted to make a sentence here.
I like to play with.
And we can go to our toys category now. We have a whole page of toys. So let's just say we want to play with cars. We can once again touch the speech display bar.
I like to play with cars.
And repeat ourselves. So if I'm making my sentence and you get occupied doing something else, you can say, Debbie, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
I like to
And I can
play
repeat
with
myself.
cars.
And the categories you can customize then.
Yes. Any of it you can customize and change any way that you want to. For instance, if we go back to the multi-chat 15, let's move this around here. Make it a little easier for you to see. We have a chat button. Whoops, I apologize. We have an About Me option, and underneath this, it's going to come with,
My name is.
and it doesn't have a name on
Sure.
it. Okay, so we're going to go in, if we wanted to program this and put your name on it, we're going to go to our menu button. We're going to go to our first option, which is Edit Mode. Whoops. I apologize. I opened up the original, so it's not going to let me make a copy or make changes to it. Because if I totally mess it up, I can always go
Then
back
go-
and
oh,
start
go
over
back,
again.
sorry.
That's right. So let me get to the multi-chat. Here we go. This is the copy. Now we can make changes to it. So now we're going to go to our edit mode. We're going to go to our chat. We'll go to About Me. Now we have a button that says My name is. Okay. So if I wanted to change that, for instance, can we put your picture on there?
Sure.
Is that okay? Okay.
Sure.
So we're going to press and keep that held down. We're going to edit our button. And on this screen then, this is going to give us our label, which we might have the label as name. We might have the label as Jeff. Okay. We have our message, which is My name is. And so I'm just going to click in here.
Keyboard automatically comes up.
Keyboard did automatically pop up. I probably need to look at this to type it. So I'm just going to type in with the keyboard. My name is Jeff. If you want to use capitalization and you want to use punctuation, that's entirely up to you. That's just a personal preference on that one. Once we have the label in here, we have the sentence or the message, my name is Jeff. Then we have an option here. If you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see this is what our button is looking like so far. So let's say, for instance, you do better using an actual picture. So instead of using the symbols, we're going to choose our camera option.
Yeah, because that symbol has hair.
We don't want to use that. We don't want to confuse Jeff with the details. So now this has opened up our camera. So now, if I may, we're just going to point this at you and take your picture. It's a wonderful picture. You almost look like you had a halo behind you. So here's our picture. We're going to choose our save option. We could rename it. I could give you a name. I could tell where you're, where we're at right now, give it the date, and then that way I can go back and reuse that same picture if I want to. In this case, I just let it save it where it was. So now if you look at the screen, we have your picture in there instead of the symbol that we had before. We're going to save our picture. We're going to go back to our menu, uncheck our edit mode.
My name is Jeff.
Very
Now
nice.
we've changed it to my name is Jeff.
Yeah.
Programming is fairly easy. It is based on a Samsung Galaxy tablet, so I think as far as the programming goes, it looks a lot like the programming that you would do on a tablet. Okay, so it's very friendly as far as the programming.
I like the idea of the pictures, though. I think sometimes those pictures are real helpful when they're actual pictures.
Yeah,
So.
I think lots of times it helps the person with communicating, but it also gives them the option, because we don't always say things like, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hungry. We want to say to people, this is my mom, this is my dog, that type of thing. So we can put actual pictures. We can tell people, our family members, we can tell them where we go. That type of thing we can put on here as well. So, but we do have that. As far as the programming, right now we use, once again, the synthesized speech. I could have recorded in there, my name is Jeff.
Okay.
And had that as well. It also gives us an option, if we go to My News, we have an option here of home news, school news. Right now it says we can change it to be speech therapy news. We can have it be OT news, anything that we wanted to. But this gives us a feature. Let's say, for instance, you went to the Colts game Sunday. Okay, and you were all excited. It might have been on Saturday, but you went to the Colts game this weekend. You're all excited. You're going to come into school, and you want to be able to tell your friends and your teacher that you went to the Colts game, instead of me accompanying you as your parent, okay, and telling what you did. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here where it says record message. I'm going to click on record. I went to the Colts game this weekend. It was awesome. I'm going to tell it stop. I'm simply going to save it. Then we have a button here that says play message. And so I'm going to come here to play my message. I went to the Colts game this weekend. It was awesome. Okay.
Nice.
So you can pass messages back and forth. You can have as many of those buttons as you want. That way, when people want to be able to pass messages along, they don't have to know how to program. They don't have to go into the edit mode to be able to do it. Simply push a button, record and it's ready to go. Exactly.
Very nice.
Exactly. So. We also have, I mentioned that the devices are the same with the exception of the hardware. One of the other differences, I mentioned the Keyguard. The NovaChat 5 does not have Keyguards. Okay? The thinking is, if you can use something this small with fine motor skills, you probably are not going to need a Keyguard. Okay? The other thing that the NovaChat 7 and the NovaChat 10 will do is scanning. Okay? So if you have somebody who needs to use a switch, we can use 1 or 2 switches. We can use a touchscreen only, or we can use a switch with the touchscreen. And what I would like to show you is how the touchscreen only on the scanning works. So once again, we're going to go into our settings. So we have an option for input. Our last option here is scanning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable scanning. Okay. In this situation, we can go to switch access. We could go to switch configuration. I already have it set up for touchscreen only. So the only thing I had to do in this case was to enable my scanning. We're going to go back to our communication software. Now what's going to happen is when I touch the screen, let's say for instance I can only touch the lower right hand corner of the screen. I can touch the screen and it's going to start scanning. Okay, we can adjust the speed. We can make it faster, slower. When it gets to the row I want, I touch again. So I can activate it as scanning without an external switch. It saves having to mount that external switch. Chances are, I'm probably in a wheelchair, this would be mounted on my wheelchair. I don't need the extra switch. I can simply use the touchscreen on the device to do the scanning with.
So the whole screen becomes the switch.
Yes,
in a sense.
exactly, exactly. So
Nice features.
devices are very durable. They do build them for durability. They understand that the people using them, they may get dropped. They may get banged around a little bit, so they are built for durability.
Yeah, they look sturdy, and they're lightweight too. I mean, that's another nice feature. Even though it has the case and it's got the speaker in the back stuff, it's still not that heavy.
They do have, you can also get shoulder straps with them. You can also get waist straps as well.
Great.
So you
Very
have
good.
those options.
Very good. Well, thank you for bringing. Oh, and
We forgot to show the, I forgot to show the Keyguards. The color shell is the green that's on here. This is probably the easiest one to see. They do come with different colors. They all come that way. They ship them with the gray, unless otherwise specified, but you do have your choice between blue, green, and purple on these. Okay. One other thing, if I have a couple seconds to mention, is we do provide training. So once the person gets the device, I come into the school, work with the parents, work with the speech therapist, work with the teacher, however the setting may be. I do provide training. We don't just ship a device and go, here you go, here's your manual.
You're on your own. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So I am available for questions. And then we will also help with funding. So if it's Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance funding, we help with the paperwork on that as well.
Great, great. Well, thank you very much. 3 nice devices.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
And a quick spin through showing us how they work, and it looks really pretty easy from what I saw. I mean, even I could do it. That'd be a good one.
We could teach you how to do it.
Okay,
Not a
and you
problem.
might need to. I don't know. We'll see. Well, we're going to wrap up today's episode. I hope that you can join us the first Tuesday of every month, as well as the third Tuesday of every month for Patents TV Live. Debbie, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
Same here. And we'll wrap. Have a good day. Thanks.